Saturday afternoon in Eugene. That's a good way to start, Jeff.
Oh, it's fabulous. The flyover is always special. It gets the blood flowing a little bit more, and I know these guys will be ready to finally get some live football action, tackling and scoring a lot of points.
Willie's got his lollipop going. He is the commissioner today. You take a look at the format for this spring game. The first half will be 2 15-minute quarters. Then there will be a 15-minute halftime. And then the second half will have 12-minute quarters. Those will have a running clock. There will be traditional scoring. You won't see kick and punt returns. Those balls will be left where they lie. Two separate teams, as we mentioned. There were 4 free agents. And the man that's the commissioner of all of it is Willie Taggart, and he's on the field with Jill Savage.
Absolutely, playing the role of commissioner today. It's your first spring. What did you want to do with this spring practice, this group of 15 practices that you have?
Well, just try to set a foundation of what we want to be, and each day we want to try and get better. Know it's going to be a lot of new learning for everyone, not just the players, coaches as well, but trying to establish a culture that we want, a winning culture, and like I said, just have a foundation where we can build off going into the summer and get ready for training camp.
With that culture, you said that you're trying to bring the guys together, get that bond with the team. What are some of the things that you've been doing?
We have dinner together every Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Our guys have breakfast check together every day. We'll have a little tournament, whatever it's ping pong or Madden or kickball, whatever. Just some give us all together and hang around each other and get to know each other.
And as the commissioner today, what are you looking for out there?
I just want guys to go out and make plays, on both sides of the ball. I always tell our guys the spotlight does strange things to some people. Some people show up and show out. Some people going high. We want the ones that show up and show out today.
We'll be looking for that. Thanks for your time, Coach. Guy?
All right, Jill. So why did Oregon go outside of the program for the first time since Willie Taggart was less than 1 year old? You take a look at the rebuilding out South Florida from 2-10 to 4-8 to 8-5 to the first 10-win season in the program history.
Yeah, and what's most impressive about what Willie did there is he changed his philosophy to fit the scheme of the guys he had at South Florida. He came in running a pro-style offense, which didn't fit the athletes that he had at South Florida. He decided to change the offense, and it really got the program going where it needed to go. And coaches are rigid, so to see him change like that has me fired up about what he can do at Oregon.
And, of course, prior to that, at Western Kentucky had fantastic success as well. There is the man so many are waiting to see, the quarterback of the free today. It's Justin Herbert, who last year, of course, the first true freshman to start at Oregon as a quarterback since 1983. He started 7 games, Jeff, and when he did, threw 19 touchdowns, 4 picks, 64%. What'd you think of him?
I think he did a good job considering the situation he was put in. The team wasn't playing very well. He was brought in to be the spark as a true freshman. That's tough to deal with at times. He led the team to an upset win at Utah, and I think we're going to see him build on what he's done in a new offense. And today we'll see a little bit of how he's got that offense, learned and working toward getting better.
His team will have the ball first. The Brave will kick away. That is Zach Emerson. He is a redshirt freshman from Bend, Oregon. He's going to kick back deep. For the free are 2 men that will not be able to do much in this part of the game today. This aspect of the game is not going to be something we see much of. And so the free will begin with the ball. And we will get our first look at Justin Herbert. Herbert has Royce Freeman on his team. He has Darren Carrington. He has Kenai Benoit. There were 4 free agents, 2 aside. This team's free agents, Royce Freeman and Jordan Scott. And the offensive lines are split up as well. So this is not ones versus twos, some of the stuff you're used to seeing. Darren Carrington is the wide receiver, split to the top. And Herbert is going to throw. And the first throw of the spring is a completion.
Nice easy completion there for Herbert. Get him rolling out a little bit, get his feet moving. Let's see what he can do. And he's a guy that can make these throws. We just have to see him consistently do that in this new offense.
That is Darian McNeil, one of the freshmen that they're excited about, who made that first reception. And now Herbert's going to throw it away.
That's a staple play in South Florida's offense, which obviously will translate over here. A little bubble screen fake and a go. South Florida led the nation last year in explosive plays on offense, and that's one of their best that they do. But you have to establish the bubble screen first before you can do that. But I like them taking the chance early on in the spring game.
So now Carrington and McNeil to the right. Malik Lovett, the wide receiver, turned DB, turned wide receiver at the bottom, and it's Royce Freeman's first carry of the spring. Henry Mondu disrupted things in the backfield after a pickup of about 3 yards. It'll be 3rd down.
A lot of misdirection in the backfield. That's a staple of that Willie Taggart offense. And look, they can't even tackle Royce Freeman. The guy's a monster. If he can stay healthy all season, he'll lead the conference in rushing.
Herbert looking for Ryan Bay, very near the stick. He's marked short. He needs about the 46. And so it's 4th down and 1.
3rd down conversion rate was a problem last year for this offense. And, you know, it's something really simple, but if it's 3rd and 6, you got to get 7 yards. And he throws the ball 5 yards, 5-yard route. Now it's 4th and 1, and you're forced to go for it here. And, tougher spot to convert.
Look at this. They're getting heavy with Freeman behind Herbert. And that made it look relatively easy. Picks up 2 yards, and then he'll move the chains. Take a look at the offensive line. Pushing forward.
They really love this offensive line group right here. And the offensive line has to be the backbone of your team. They need to be tough and physical. And obviously, they're rotating in and out because of the spring game, but they're really going to rely on this unit to be the leaders on offense.
McNeil unable to bring it in. And so it's 2nd and 10. What about the balance today, Jeff, between playing this game, wanting guys to learn the offense, but not wanting to put too much on television? It's got to be tough.
I think that it's not going to be as tough because they probably don't have a lot of that offense in right now. They're learning the verbiage, they're learning the formations, the tempo. So you're going to see what they've put in already, which is probably not very much.
You saw Raymond Woody, the special teams coach. He's the head coach of Team 3. And there is McNeil wide open for a 1st down and plenty more. Out to the 21. Oh, he stepped out at the 24-yard line. You can see why they like this young man from Seffner, Florida.
He's been impressive all spring. He's one of the names that Coach singled out as having an impressive spring. And when you can have speed like that, you really put pressure on the defense. They find an easy completion again on a bootleg, and he's off and running.
Now here's Freeman, and he's stopped up immediately. The whistles come quick in this game. Fotu Leato playing that duck position, which is new. We've seen it in Colorado with Jim Levitt's defense. It was called the buff.
It's a position that they don't know what they're going to do quite yet. It can make it a 3-3-5. It can make it a 3-4 outside linebacker like he is here, but it's real versatile. Here he comes on a pressure.
Another low snap. Herbert, with plenty of time, got out of it, and he finds Taylor Alley, the longtime backup quarterback, now at wide receiver.
Yeah, in an offense like this with tempo and timing, you have to have the snap up at the quarterback. 1 a game is rough to even have, so they need to keep improving on that.
I believe that's Jake Pisarcik, who's not the starting center for this team. That's Jake Hansen, who's on the other team today. He's on Team Brave. Herbert complete for the score. Wearing a new number, but the same result. Darren Carrington, who had 5 touchdowns last year, switched from number 7 to number 22, and he's into the end zone.
Herbert had all day to throw right here. You can see a little play action fake. Look at his feet. Tap, tap, tap. Finds Kerrigan wide open. Good protection by the offensive line. This is one thing the defense is going to have to work on moving forward is they don't have a lot of guys returning that can rush the passer. And you're going to see today so far in the first drive, they haven't gotten much pressure, but good job by Herbert there, making his reads and waiting for Kerrigan to get open over the middle.
So now here's Aiden Schneider, the most accurate kicker in Oregon history. So productive last year. And that is through. And so a 4th down conversion. And an offense with Justin Herbert, Darren Carrington, and Royce Freeman looking the way you would think an offense with Justin Herbert, Darren Carrington, and Royce Freeman should look.
Just like that, and it's good to see. And especially with a patchwork offensive line, that they'll have a better offensive line when they play. That's impressive. You want to come out in spring and be efficient, and they were efficient. That's what you want to see, I think, from Herbert, is you want to see him continue to lead this offense and get big chunk plays, which is what South Florida did really well, and hopefully Oregon can continue to do into the season.
Earlier today, Jill Savage caught up with the quarterback.
Here with Justin Herbert. Everybody is going through the difference, learning the new offense, but you were saying it's a lot like last year for you. You come in, learn the offense in just a couple of weeks. So what's it been like for you?
It's been really similar to last year. Coming in, not much time to learn the offense. Things are going really fast, and it's a lot of work to do.
What's been the best part about this spring for you?
I think the energy that the coaches have brought. I mean, they've brought an energy that we haven't seen for a while, and they're really energetic, and they really know how to get the players going. And it's been a fun spring so far.
The coaches are all emphasizing what happens in the summer. After you guys go away, what you're going to be able to work on individually. What are you going to be focusing on there?
We can't lose what we've worked for the past spring. I mean, we've made so much progress this spring, and we can't lose it with the 2 weeks that we're off. And so we have to be in the weight room and be on the field and make sure that we're keeping up with what we're doing.
What's been the best part about this new era?
It's just been a lot of fun. I think it's been really tough on the field, and workouts and stuff have been really tough, but they've made it really fun, and it's fun to be here every day.
Well, it's fun watching you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Guys.
So there will be returns, as we saw. Okay, now here is Team Brave. This is Travis Johnson, the redshirt sophomore from Anaheim, who is the quarterback of Team Brave. Braxton Burmeister is also on this team, and Tony Brooks-James is the running back, and he picks up about 3 yards on first down.
This team is led on offense in the middle by Hanson, the center, who was a true freshman last year, started 12 games, and he's the backbone of this unit. So watch him in the middle right there, moving guys.
Johnson will hand off. He ran the scout team last year, and Tony Brooks-James again on the carry.
It's just simple tempo offense right here. Run the ball now, manageable third down. And they have to convert. 39% last year, 79th in the nation. Not good enough for an offense that wants to be more explosive.
You saw 35, Troy Dye, by far and away the guy.
Yeah, he's their duo. Freshman All-American last year, Pac-12 honorable mention as well, and he can do it all. And the coach are looking forward to him making a big step this year in a new defense.
It's Brooks-James coming in motion for Johnson on third down. First chance to see him evaluate, and he's in trouble. And then it's Brooks-James, the safety valve, out to nearly midfield.
That's what coaches love about Johnson, his ability to make plays with his legs. He's learning to become a passer, but plays like this are what gets offenses going and what makes coaches excited right here. Has a good pocket, sees a little pressure, steps up, and dumps the ball out, and great run after the catch.
Jake Breland, the tight end, is the inside receiver to the left. This is Brooks-James, stopped up immediately. A.J. Hotchkins, one of the expected starters, or at least as far as the spring depth chart goes, at inside linebacker.
Good recognition of the play right there. Inside zone, makes the tackle. You know, Oregon's going to have to be sure tacklers. They have some talent there, but you overcome a lack of talent sometimes by being sure in your technique.
Can you get better at that?
Yes, it just takes time and the reps. And they had only 15 practices in the spring. And with training camp now, it's practice a little less than it used to be. But Jim Levitt got the most out of guys in Colorado, and I expect him to get the most out of his guys here at Oregon.
You see Lamar Winston Jr. wearing 32. We talked about that duck linebacker spot for Team Brave. It's Leato. For Team Free, it's Winston. Third down at about 6. This is Charles Nelson that came in motion. Tony Brooks-James nearly ran into him, and Johnson has to throw it away.
I mean, those are spring game issues right there. One guy motioning across, getting a fake fly sweep. The other guy thinks he's getting the ball as well. They almost run into each other right there. Here they go. This is what happens when you install a new offense. You have plays like this.
Tony Brooks-James looked like he saw his life flash before his eyes.
I mean, when you make a mistake, you obviously want to continue with the play and find something to do. But, you don't want to almost run into your teammate as well.
So Adam Stack, he's one of the 7 early enrollees, which Willie Taggart told us he's never had that many, which is understandable. It's a lot. But Adam Stack from Honolulu is kicking away here. And this is Carrington, who's going to field it at the 2.
That's a great punt.
That's a really good punt.
Yeah, good for the true freshman.
Adam Stack.
I like it.
Winning the day so far.
Back here inside Autzen Stadium, of course, everybody is going to know the man standing next to me, Kenyon Barner, a familiar face. What's it like coming back here to Autzen Stadium?
great experience. I was walking down the tunnel telling LaMichael, bring back a lot of old memories. You know, I had a lot of great times in the stadium, a lot of great time dealing with the fan base, being here, had a lot of support, so it's always wonderful to get back.
They have had some great running backs throughout the years. Royce Freeman is kind of that next man up. He's taken over the role. What's your assessment of Royce?
NFL ready. Big man, a lot of speed, a lot of power, great agility, can cut. The guy's a real deal.
What do you like best about this Oregon team and the way that it's looking right now?
Coach Taggart, you know, his mindset, you know, his drive, his push to get this team going in the right direction, and his ability to get them to cooperate and fall in line with what his dream for this team is.
You already mentioned you walked out of the tunnel with LaMichael. We tried to get him over here. You're always the one that's willing to do the interviews, though. What's the deal?
That's kind of been a dynamic of our relationship. LaMike don't really talk. He likes me to do the talking, so I'm going to talk for him. You got any questions for him?
We tried. We'll get you the relay. We'll direct it back upstairs. Thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
Guy?
It's like Michael Robinson and Marshawn Lynch.
Exactly. It's good to see alums come back, though, for a game like this.
Flag down. You are an alum, so what's the experience been like for you?
And you saw today when we rolled up. I have not been here since 2009, and when I rolled up, my eyes lit up. You saw it. It was exciting to be here. I mean, we had a lot of memories. This is where you spent 4 years here. I was here in 2007 when Chip Kelly came. We started Win the Day. We started building this program to what it's become now, and a lot of fun here, a lot of winning. This is a great place to be if you're a college football player.
Well, you mentioned Chip Kelly, and we see some guys who, like Kenyon, who were so productive moving at warp speed, that blur. We know that Willie Taggart's offense like tempo. How are they similar, or maybe better, Jeff, how are they different?
Well, they're similar in tempo. I mean, you have a spread offense and up-tempo offense. They pretty much are similar in the tempo, but formationally, Willie Taggart's offense tends to be a little bit more spread out the wide receiver. They run a lot of RPOs, run-pass options, so you see the handoff and a fake bubble screen can keep it, can give it. So you're going to see more of that moving forward. But we've seen a good amount of offense so far in the first quarter of a spring game.
They need the 44 for the first down. Man, Herbert didn't like anything that he saw, and good thing Jimmy Swain was coming on the blind side. And so team free is going to punt.
Hurt by holding calls. You have a penalty on first down. It sets your whole drive back, and they had a holding call there on the first play during the Barner interview, and that sets the whole offense back.
Blake Mamone is going to punt it away.
This formation is interesting. It's showing a little something different in spring ball.
What's interesting about it?
So spread out, it will really put a hamper on the defense trying to rush or block the kick, because if your numbers aren't right, then you can throw a fake anytime because there's wide receivers out there and they have a punter who can throw the ball. So it puts a lot of pressure on defense. And what it really does is it makes them study a little bit more film time than they would normally on the punt team. So it just takes up more time for coaches.
Take a look at the defense last year. The red zone touchdown rate was incredible. It's the worst in FBS. Jim Levitt, the new defensive coordinator, of course. This is Tony Brooks-James. Flipped it over to Dylan Mitchell, who is throwing downfield and nearly has it intercepted. He was looking for Casey Eugenio.
A little spring game trickery.
Yeah.
Back to those defensive stats. When you score 50 points a game, you can mask some of those stats. And last year, the offense didn't score as many points, and it really put a hurt on the defense. And we talked earlier about rushing the passer. They're going to have to rush the passer a little bit better. If not, they're going to have to try to create pressure with blitzes and leave their corners on an island.
Something they did. They blitzed a lot. They blitzed more than average last year. They blitzed 39% of the time last season under Brady Hoke. Here's Johnson throwing it behind Breland. And he has a lot of work as a tight end. That's an open spot. But
yeah, he's been the favorite target of Herbert so far during spring ball. They have a good relationship, and he's a talented tight end, and they're hoping they can get a lot from him because their tight end position in this offense, we asked Coach Arroyo, the co-offensive coordinator, they need a guy to be a hybrid tight end like the tight ends that are getting drafted the last couple of days. They need to be able to block, run the seam, and create plays, and that's what they're hoping that Breland can do for them.
against 4 on 3rd down. What a throw by Johnson, hauled in by Mitchell. And you said you wanted big chunk plays.
That's as simple as they come on 3rd and long. 4 verticals down the field, all go. And a great play right here. Nice throw. With Johnson, this is what they want to see from him. They want to see if he can throw the ball. They know he can run, but can he make those throws? That's a big 3rd down completion for him.
Jyrie Stewart, the cornerback, in motion. And here's Johnson again. Trying to get behind the block of Calvin Throckmorton.
That was an interesting play right there. They pulled the right tackle off a little motion right there. It was a little counter misdirection type thing right there, and the timing got screwed up. This is what happens in a spring practice. They probably haven't run that play very much in a spring game, and they can evaluate these plays when they watch film after the game.
Jake Hansen, the center, the first-team center, playing center on this team. That ball got to Tony Brooks-James, and he's going to get all the way down. Or where'd he step out? No, it's not a first down. He stepped out back at the 25, so it's a pickup of 5 yards.
Barely got it in there before Hodgkins almost intercepted that ball. That was close right there. Hodgkins read it all the way. It's a good play by him. He just missed on his angle a little bit. And luckily for them, they ran out of bounds before that was a huge gain.
So here's a 3rd and 5 with 5 wide receivers. Breland is in the slot to the right, the tight end. Against a 3-man rush, Johnson's going to get touchdown shy of the first down at the 21, so it's 4th down and 1.
It's an honest ref right there. I would have given him the first down. Like he did touch him right there at the 21-yard line, so good job by the ref.
Plus, they're going for it. Add a little drama to the game.
It's the same formation they do the little bubble screen and go from. They're trying to figure it out down there.
And it's Brooks-James, and that's Dye streaking in for the tackle, but a first down. But how Troy Dye adjusts at the inside linebacker spot, moving from outside to inside, is going to be a big key for this defense. That was Brady Breeze on that stop. 25, not 35.
Yeah, Ty led the team last year in tackles with 91, and Coach Jim Leavitt, the defense coordinator, had Patrick Willis, and I think he wants him to be that guy. I'm not saying he's that talented, but he wants him to kind of be his do-all and a guy that can stop the run and play in coverage, and that's what you need in a 3-4. You have to be able to stop the run as a 3-4 inside linebacker.
He says he's a guy he wants on the field a lot. Jim Leavitt saying this about Troy Dye. The problem is there's a lot to learn here. With only 15 spring practices, I would imagine that learning curve will continue into the fall.
Yeah, and he stressed that he needs him to be great. This defense needs playmakers, and he's the best returning playmaker they have. So they need him to be special this year. They need him to get his tackle total up and be able to defend in the pass game to really help his defense. Because, look, they can't be in the bottom 2 or 3 of the Pac-12 to be successful next season.
They scored a lot of points last year, but as you said, they gave up a lot more. Gave up 41 points per game. Fourth in the Pac-12 in scoring, over 35 points per game.
The offense has never been an issue. Even when I was here, we were losing games. It wasn't because of the offense. So the Pac-12 offense has put a lot of stress on your defense. You have to change the way you recruit. You have to play these spread offense. It's hard to have a great defense in the Pac-12 because every offense is designed to score 40 points. It's not that way in other conferences. Other conferences are designed to play defense. This one's designed to play offense.
Joe DeMoy and Troy Dye had that read well, and so it's 4th down and 10. Yeah, Brady Breeze said this week he knows for a long time the O means offense here, and he said, look, when we play the spring game, we know everyone's going to be rooting for the offense, but Jim Leavitt has a history of making defenses that people think of one way thought of another way. They did it at Colorado very quickly.
Well, Team Free's done a good job so far at defense today. They've had some good sticks. They've had some good coverages. And, yeah, they need to just increment and get better. And what Jim Leavitt did at Colorado with not a lot of stars early on is what he's hoping to do here, which is get his guys to really buy in, to enjoy the system. And he said if they don't want to buy in, they won't play.
Emerson from 36 yards away gets Team Brave on the board. The issue, though, with that is you take a look at Keith Hayward. He's the safeties coach, former Oregon State defensive back, and the head coach of Team Brave. The issue with if you don't play hard, you won't play is there's just not a lot of personnel, and that's why the fall is going to be so big for this program. It'll be interesting to see how many guys that come into the fall, how many of those freshmen are guys that can contribute.
Well, one guy they like so far at corner is Thomas Graham Jr., the true freshman who's come in early and played well for them. And when we talked on the phone to Coach Taggart, he was really excited about the freshmen that have come in early, which is Graham Jr. and Scott, the nose tackle. So I think he's excited to bring his own guys into this defense because personnel-wise, they have a lot of work to do. And when he got here, he realized that, and they'll recruit the guys he needs for this defense.
We'll see Graham a little bit as this day goes along. But for now, let's go back down to the field and Jill.
Here with Devin Allen, looking at this for you, you've given up football. You're sticking to track right now. What's it like though being back here at Autzen?
It's a little weird. I love the atmosphere here though. All my boys are playing, so it's fun to be around it. But like you said, I'm doing track now, so I'm not going to be on the field too much longer.
What's the road to recovery looking like for you after that ACL injury?
Yeah, it's going really well. I'm actually running my first meet next week at Twilight. So Oregon Twilight in Eugene at Hayward Field next week on Friday. So I'm excited to open up and see how I do.
As seen on the Pac-12 networks, we'll be airing that. So we can't wait to see you out there again. Looking at what you were able to do, coming in 5th in the world, splitting your time with football and track, now knowing that you just are able to focus on track, what's that going to be like for you to be able to give it your all?
Yeah, I think it just puts me in a better position to perform well at the end of the season for track and field. I don't have to deal with injuries during football or being tired at the end of the season. So I think just having a full season just to train and focus on track is really going to help me, go to the next level that I want to be, and that's win a gold medal.
And now that you're not in the football world, still, what's your take on the transition and kind of the energy that's around here now?
Those guys are working hard, so it's just like every spring ball. Everybody's tired. So whenever I hang out with the guys, they're like, oh, man, I can't. I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed at 8 o'clock. I'm like, that's spring ball for you. But, yeah, it seems the energy's high. All the guys are excited. So I'm happy to see what the team's going to do next season.
Thanks for your time. We'll see you back out there on the track.
Thank you. I'll see you next week.
Guy?
And good luck to Devin next week. That's fantastic. Great to see him getting healthy. Taylor Stinson and Darian McNeil with back-to-back receptions here. And it's a 2nd down. And just out of the reach of McNeil, who's been a favorite target of Herbert. But one of the big stories today is the man playing left tackle. Terrell Crosby broke his foot against Nebraska wearing number 73 in gray for Team Free. And having him back and healthy, we weren't sure, Jeff, if he was going to play today. But the fact that he's back is a big deal.
Yeah, he spent most of spring practice doing individual drills. They worked him back into Team 11-on-11 drills. And to see him out here is a huge boost for Oregon because they need him to be really good at left tackle. In 2015, he started all 12 games at right tackle, and he can be a great player. 6'5", 310, good quick feet, good punch. And so if they can get him back to full strength for training camp, they'll just be another dimension to his offense that they need to get forward.
They're going to rule that play incomplete. He got some experience coming off the bench with the 14 team that played in the CFP National Championship. And when he got hurt last year, it really inhibited the ability of the left side of the line to protect first Prukop and then Herbert.
You don't have typically on offense a backup left tackle who's as good as the starter. Otherwise, he'd be playing already. And offense it's hard. People think it's easy to just move the right tackle over to left tackle. Well, there's a reason why he's playing right tackle. He might not be as quick as the left tackle. So to have your left tackle back, first of all, it gives everyone on the offense confidence that you can block, and then you can have Herbert there. It gives him more confidence that he's protected. And look, you've seen Herbert today. He's been fairly accurate. He's done a good job, and it has to give you confidence moving forward.
Blake Maimone put it down to about the 18-yard line. Take a look at some of the key departures from last season. We mentioned Breland has so much more responsibility this year than last. Dakota Prukop, of course, started early in the season before Herbert took over after that Washington State game. Farrell Brown, I think the most productive departed member of this offense, the tight end, Dwayne Stanford, who did not produce much last season. These guys were hurt for good portions of last year, and that was a big deal. Daniels and Johnny Reagan. And Reagan came back in the Stanford game, but then was re-injured. Here's Team Brave, who just kicked a field goal a few moments ago. But it's been pretty stunning to see season by season, Jeff. And we mentioned that 14 team, or the 13 team really, 2-14. But look at that stretch from 10 to 14.
A lot of winning. And it's, as an alum and someone who watches the program closely, it was a lot of fun. I'm not going to lie. And last year was tough to see. And I think it was tough because the drop happened so fast. When it happens on a slow slide, you understand that you might have some talent deficiencies, but to see it drop that fast something had to be going on because it doesn't happen like that, especially in a program who's won so many games over that 5-year stretch.
This is right back to Tony Brooks. James trying to wear through the defense. I think that's Khalil Oliver on the tackle, but there's the chance that for the first time in 31 years, there will not be a Duck drafted in the NFL draft.
I think that is the most telling sign as to why they struggled last year. The talent wasn't there. And you can have great college players, but you do need guys that are talented enough to play in the NFL. Those guys elevate your program, and Oregon didn't have those guys last year. Pharaoh Brown had stayed healthy a couple years ago, dislocated his knee against Utah. If he had stayed healthy, he'd be that guy. He would have been a high draft pick. But unfortunately, he got hurt, and they're looking to bring more guys in the program that have the ability to play in the NFL.
This is Braxton Burmeister at a quarterback, and with Charles Nelson fumbling, Burmeister just falls on the football, touchdown by Jonah Moy. The early enrollee, initially verbal to Arizona, then chose Oregon in January. He was a parade All-American from Southern California, and the numbers were just off the charts. Almost 6,000 total yards, 80 all-purpose touchdowns last season. That's not a career, that's a season at La Jolla for Braxton Burmeister, as Travis Johnson signals in from the sideline for Team Brave. I said 80 touchdowns, Jeff.
That's a lot of touchdowns.
And that's a sack. Hunter Kampmoyer, the redshirt freshman.
Great swim move right there. That was excellent. They need this from their D-line. They need plays like this. Sack, put the defense back, and we saw him fired up right there. Look at that little arm over swim move right there. It's good he's happy. We need to see guys, we need to see other defenders go over to him and celebrate with him. The defensive unit almost has to be more fired up than the offense because of the way they play. They play on a lot of emotion, and so he makes that big play right there. It would have been nice to see him go back and celebrate with his teammates.
One thing that Willie Taggart told us, he told his team, was, like you said, Jeff, as long as you're celebrating with your teammates, then have at it. He said, don't act like you've been there before. Act like you haven't been there before. Have some fun. Which I don't know if I've ever heard a coach say, act like you haven't been there before. But it's a good way to make the point.
That's what ailed them last year. One of the things that ailed them was they just didn't seem to play for each other as much as they had in the past. And I think that's what he's trying to bring is a change of culture. It doesn't happen overnight, but it happens with little things like you get a sack and you celebrate as a unit. Now, maybe they didn't see it happen. It's a spring game. It's not official. They let the play out like it would have.
Take a look at the upcoming schedule. Southern Utah, and then the return game. They played at Nebraska last year. Remember, that was a heartbreaker. Lost by 3. To Wyoming. Wyoming played in the Mountain West Championship game last year. And then they start conference play on the road at ASU, Cal, and WSU at home. And then at Stanford, at UCLA, Utah, and at Washington. That stretch there from the beginning of October to the beginning of November is very difficult.
It is. And I think early on we'll get a good tell of what Oregon will be. They should beat Southern Utah, of course. Nebraska comes here. That should be evenly matched. Going to Wyoming with Josh Allen, their quarterback, who could have been a top pick this year, came back to Wyoming. That'll be a test for the defense early on in week 3. And if they can get 2 or 3 wins there, I think they'll feel good about their upcoming Pac-12 schedule.
Kenai Benoit, who scrimmage last Saturday, went for 121 yards, getting some opportunity after we've seen a lot of Royce Freeman. Here's Benoit again from Herbert, stopped up, and it'll make it 3rd down and 5. Benoit was productive last year, 6 yards per carry. This is one position group that we don't worry too much about with Oregon this year, right? The running backs.
I don't know when's the last time you had to worry about running back position at Oregon. That seems to be the one position that had anything that you can always rely on, and they continue the tradition of having excellent running backs year in, year out.
Ryan Bay, the backup tight end, and again, when I say backup, we're talking about spring depth charts. The coaches have emphasized that a depth chart in the spring is subject to change.
There's Herbert right there, 3rd down, sets his feet, fires a missile, gets a 1st down. You need to see this out of him continually, is converting 3rd downs. If they can take the 3rd down percentage from 39% to 45%, their offense will be even more explosive than it has been in the past.
Leato in on the tackle there of Benoit. It's remarkable, and I need you to explain this to me because we're trying to figure out what this means on 2nd down upcoming. Now, under a minute remaining in this first quarter, and this is Herbert sacked in the backfield. Leato back there along with Pau Paletti Gore, but Herbert last year, Jeff, against the blitz, completed 64% of his passes. When he wasn't blitzed, he completed 63% of his passes.
it's a very interesting stat, and it shows that he can read a defense. He sees the pressure. He knows where his outlet is. He knows the defense. He knows his offense. I think it shows to maybe the lack of playmakers at wide receiver, because if you can't get open versus a cover 3, cover 2 with no one blitzing, then the quarterback just has to take his time back there. And that might be an issue with the offensive line as well, not protecting as well. They gave up 29 sacks last year, which is more than they had done in the past. And it's a combination of that and the wide receivers. But moving forward, 64% against the blitz is excellent.
Yeah.
And it would persuade teams against blitzing them.
Well, we saw a sack there. It was Jalen Jelks and Henry Mondeau combining to close out the first quarter with the free, leading the Braves here at Autzen.
Is in the right slot, but Herbert's going left for Freeman. Touchdown, Oregon! Oregon's going to get the ball here on the flow. No! Did he touch it?
After review, the ball was touched by the receiving team, resulting in a touchdown.
And Herbert will keep it, and Herbert gets in! The end zone. Touchdown, Utah! And Utah brings extra again. They throw it to Carrington. He caught it out of the end zone.
I don't know, Ted. I think he's in.
The receiver's foot was inbounds, and he opened the play as a touchdown.
The Oregon Ducks have stunned Utah.
There's Carrington now wearing number 22. You could hear Yogi Roth. He was all over that. And he was right. That one went to review, and what a tense moment that was with a couple seconds left. Just incredible. Carrington back, and the fact that he's changed numbers somewhat symbolic of what Willie Taggart's trying to accomplish. If you had a single digit, you lost it. No single digits. You got to earn those numbers back. And so Carrington switching to number 22, just one of the things that's different here. You see do something on the back. That is one of the key slogans out on the practice field. It says blame no one, no excuses, and do something. And so the week before Easter weekend, when the team was done with practice, Darren Carrington said to Willie Taggart, "Coach, you cook an Easter dinner for us?" And Willie said, "No pots, no pans. I don't really have anything in the house." And what did the team say to him? Blame no one, no excuses.
I love it. I love when the kids get back at the coaches. It's awesome. Good for them.
And do something.
Did he cook Easter dinner?
I don't think he did. But I know this. Food is the carrot at the end of this game here. The winning team will get a steak dinner. The losing team gets hot dogs at the next team barbecue.
That's a good way to motivate football players.
Yeah.
Food.
Yeah.
It would have worked with me as well.
3 cups of popcorn at the end of the broadcast.
Yeah.
That's all I can offer you, Jeff. This is Burmeister still in at quarterback, getting another look. And one thing, talking to Marcus Arroyo, the pass game coordinator, make no mistake, Willie Taggart told us he's the one that's going to call the plays this year. But he said one thing they've been really impressed with in Burmeister, the quarterback, the early enrollee, he said he's very studious, and they didn't necessarily expect he'd come in with such good fundamentals. They say his fundamentals have given him a really good base to hit the ground running here at Oregon.
Well, you watch him right there. He sets up well in the pocket. He goes through his reads, and this is what makes him special. He can run the ball. He had a clean pocket right there. At the last second, kind of got some pressure. Could have stepped up a little bit to his right, but look, this is fine. It's college football. You run around a lot. It's okay to have these plays right here. You can make plays with your legs, and that's rushing their outside linebacker against a tight end right there. It's a tough assignment for the tight end, but Coach Arroyo wants their tight ends, needs their tight ends to be able to pass protect in this offense.
Specifically, Breland. That'll be a sack. Or it'll be nearly a big play. There's a discussion going on in the backfield right now.
It's not even close. It was a sack. He would have killed them. This is what makes Jim Leavitt's defense, though, is they can bring any of those outside linebackers. They can bring an outside linebacker or a duck, and you're going to see a lot of those pressures like that as the season moves forward.
Arian Springs came in and made the big hit. Trying to get a look on who's down there. Let's take another look at this play. Oh, it's Brooks James.
That could be targeting. In a spring game, you really don't want to see that. You want to try to avoid that type of contact in the helmet. in an environment like this when you don't want to hurt your own teammates. You want to hit. You want to show you can bring the wood a little bit, but you probably want to stay away from the head area.
It's a tough play for the defender too. It didn't appear, Jeff, like he launched himself, but he was about head level.
I do feel bad for defenders because these targeting rules sometimes don't take into account the way the offensive player reacts to the ball. Sometimes the offensive player might lower himself to catch a ball at the last second, and the defender's already made his mind up about where to target and misses. But the rules are in place for player safety, and I understand it. And I'm glad that they have moved to where they can replay and not throw the guy out, because we got to a point where before the replays, you're throwing guys out who it wasn't intentional or it never happened the way you thought it did, because the game is played fast. Sometimes it's really a shoulder hit and it's not a head hit. So I'm glad they moved to the replay system where they can keep these guys in the game.
Now this doesn't matter, so to speak. Tony Brooks-James' health is far more important than what I'm about to say, but he's the only running back on Team Brave, for whatever that's worth. Not that they'd have any problem just throwing the ball for the rest of the afternoon. A flag is down.
I'm sure they might like actually Burmeister throw the ball every play. I mean, that's something that they know he can run, and they know they can probably run the ball. So to see him throw the ball every down might be something that the coaches are looking forward to doing if that ends up being the case.
It wasn't offside, so it'll make it 3rd down and 3. A penalty on the defense.
Little things like what just happened right there where the hard count on offense, Burmeister gave a hard count, defense jumps off sides, the offense gains 5 yards right here, it turns a 3rd 8 to 3rd and 3, where it's much more manageable. You see right here, he can scramble for a first down. If it's 3rd and 8, he's not scrambling.
And he eventually gets touched down by Ugo Amadi, who was one of the freshman pickups for this, free agent pickups for this Team Free. He's one of the starting corner.
Yeah, they spoke very highly of him. Coming from last season to this year, they really like him, and that's why he was one of the free agents. He was allowed to choose his team because they valued what he had done in spring so much.
Started 8 games as a sophomore, played in every game last season. Here's Burmeister again. And that is nearly picked off, but it's actually ripped down by Dylan Mitchell. Dye chases him down, but not before Mitchell breaks free, and a first down inside the 40-yard line.
Just making more plays right here. Another near interception. Was it through the hands? Looked like it could have been through the hands. Good run after the catch right there. They need this explosive plays on offense.
Remember, he was the early enrollee who was fantastic, the MVP of the spring game last year after being the Tennessee State Gatorade Player of the Year as a high school senior. Now at running back is Charles Nelson.
This Brave offensive line has really been getting after it. If you watch them run the football, they're getting a lot of movement. Starts with Hanson in the middle, and they've done a good job. And Mario Cristobal, the new offensive line coach from Alabama, brings that attitude that he had at Alabama, and that's what I think Oregon missed a little bit last year, and they're bringing it here. They want his guys to be physical. They want them to get a little bit bigger, which they'll do in the weight room, and they want them to bring it to the defense and lead the team.
Throckmorton, Lemieux, first-teamers. Aiello's been working in as well. He's on this line.
If you end up with Crosby at left tackle, if everyone's healthy, Crosby, Lemieux, Hanson, and then it would be Throckmorton at right tackle. I think right guard right now is Brenner.
Yeah.
He's he's the oldest offensive lineman. He has not started a game, but he has played a lot of reps. He played the most reps as a backup in 2015 for this team.
And that is intercepted. What a play. Was that Dye or Winston? Let's take a look at the replay to see who brought this in. 1, 2, and it's Billy Gibson, the freshman backup safety from Florida.
A little mix-up on the route right there. The wide receiver cut off early possibly. Great job by the defense rallying to the football and creating turnovers. That's a way to help a defense. Create turnovers, you're on the field less, set up your offense for more points. So it's good to see the defense making some plays today.
Nice job. Arian Springs got the hand on it first, or second, the first defender. Now here's Herbert looking to run a little bit, and it gives us a chance to talk about the fact that, the question's been asked a lot of Willie Taggart. Last year at South Florida, his quarterback, Quentin Flowers, threw for 2,800 yards and ran for over 1,500 yards. So you're talking over 4,000 yards and 42 touchdowns between throwing and running the football. Herbert's going to throw here incomplete, and it's third down. Do you need that kind of quarterback to run this offense as a flag comes in?
I don't know if you need that type of quarterback, but I think he would prefer that type of quarterback. He likes his quarterback to run more than the previous offense where Chip Kelly wanted a thrower who could run. I think that Coach Taggart wants a runner who can throw. They do a lot of design quarterback runs, with something the old offense did not really do. I think that Herbert can do it for now, but Burmeister might be the future.
53, the defense. Ball be placed in the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
That's the inside linebacker, Blake Rugraf. Just finish that point. So you think what we're seeing from Burmeister is what in the future, though?
I think he wants to see a quarterback who can do more with his legs. Herbert can do it. Burmeister's just better at it. So moving forward, I think they want to try to recruit those guys like Flowers that he had at South Florida.
We saw the Utah highlights earlier. It's not as if, and you said it, it's not as if Herbert is immobile. He's not. He's athletic. He's a tough runner, too. He's unafraid when he runs.
They're treating Freeman like a Pro Bowl game, which is good. No tackling him. I'd put a red shirt on him and not let him get touched. I mean, you can't lose this guy. He played with some bum ribs last year for a while. It wasn't the same, and he's a key to your offense, and you can't get him hurt in the spring game.
If I was a defender, I wouldn't have much interest in tackling Royce Freeman anyway.
That could be true as well.
Touchdown is Herbert by Leato. So Jim Leavitt takes over at Colorado. The year before he got to Colorado, they were allowing 39 points per game. His first year, they allowed 27. Last season, one of the best defenses in the nation, allow under 22. Here's Herbert taking a deep shot, and it's broken up. He loves throwing down the field. We've seen that a few times today. I think that was Lovett, the intended receiver. It was.
It's a great throw. Wide receivers got to make these plays, and we talked about that completion percentage earlier where there was no pressure right there. And, when you have a guy not make a play like that, it's going to hurt your completion percentage. It's a great throw.
Well, and we should give some credit. You mentioned they love Thomas Graham. Well, now we can see why. There he is, the early enrollee from Rancho Cucamonga, a high school teammate of Jalen Red, who, of course, is the number 4 Rivals athlete coming in the fall. And he got a lot of attention and an opportunity in front of everybody to make a play, and he does. And we've heard, for a young guy, which Thomas Graham is, we've heard his teammates talk highly about him. So he's made a quick impression here in Eugene. Team Free leading Team Brave 7-3. One of the keys to the defense, maybe the biggest key, Troy Dyes moved to inside linebacker, and Jill Savage caught up with him earlier today.
With Troy Dye, and of course, in the Pac-12, we've all known about Jim Leavitt for quite some time, but what's it like having him as your defensive coordinator running the show now with all that energy?
It's great. I mean, it's a new energy we have on the whole defensive side of the ball now. I mean, it's a great uplifting tempo. He comes out every day to work and prepare and get us right. Every day is game day with him. I mean, he tells us to treat every day like it's game day, to come out prepared with the right mentality, come out with the right energy and the right juice, and just come out fired up.
And going then into that duck linebacker spot, he said, all right, you need some time. You know you do, but you're getting there. What's that transition been like for you?
It's been a little difficult because it's different reads, different keys and stuff like that. But, I mean, over time, over these past couple 14 practices, I'm starting to get more acclimated with the spot and more in the position. So over the summer, I'm going to keep getting better, getting the way we get a little bit stronger. Fall camp, just get ready for the season. But, I mean, I'm really looking forward to this season because I'm liking the spot, and I feel like it's a great fit for me in the defense.
How do you describe the difference this spring from years before?
I can't speak for too many years before. I was just here last year, so I mean, just the transition from the last year to this year, I mean, there's a lot more energy. Guys just really want to be here. Guys really want to participate, stuff like that. I mean, last year kind of got like a down, like guys didn't want to be around the building. I mean, guys love coming to the building now. Coaches love having us here. Coaches want to get to know every individual on an individual basis. I mean, off the field stuff, get to know you and your parents, your mom, your dad, the whole nine. I mean, it's kind of cool coming to the building, knowing that you have people here that really, really care about you. I mean, the last staff really cared about us as well, but it wasn't the same kind of interactions we had with the last staff with this staff. I mean, this staff really cares about us, and they really try to get to know us on a first name basis.
Everybody feeling the juice. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you, definitely.
Guys?
That interview was super telling about what happened last season. Guys didn't want to be in the building. I know the coaching staff last year, they cared for the players, but I think it's a little different. The staff here is younger. They seem to interact with them a little bit more. But that interview was why they they didn't play well last year. When you say guys don't want to be in the building, not all the guys, but some of the guys, and that ends up being 4-8 season.
And he had a great year.
He did, and he's not one of those guys. But they need everyone to buy in. Like, it can't work if everyone doesn't buy in, and that's what Coach Taggart has focused most on this spring with the meals they have together, with just getting to know all your teammates and everyone buy into his program, because that's the only way you win is complete buy-in from everybody.
This is Travis Johnson back into the game and throwing an interception, and that's Arian Springs who helped create the last one. And there's a team celebration.
There you go. There we go.
There's your fun.
That's awesome. They need to do that. Look, the coaches are in there. Everyone's excited. The coaches have really been pushing this as well. If you've watched videos of the spring, they're really involved in celebrating. And Springs is the senior leader on the defense. Started 9 games last year. 2015 had 12 starts. He's top 10 all-time in Oregon in pass breakups. So he's a guy they're going to rely on in the secondary to really lock down wide receivers and allow the defense to bring pressure if they have to create some disruption in the backfield.
Well, to your point on Troy Dye, and it applies with Arian Springs here as well, because Jim Leavitt lording over the defense with his energy. Arian Springs says he came in yelling day one, and he hasn't changed for 24 hours each day, 7 days of each week, a flag here. But Troy Dye, he's the leading tackler, and he changed positions. And, I mean, that's leading by doing.
5-yard penalty. Down remains 1.
Jim Leavitt sounds like most defense coordinators. Fired up guy. He probably drinks more Pepsis than a lot of the guys do, but they need that. They need some fire. And I like what he's doing. And we talked to him on the phone, and he just wants his guys to buy in. If they don't buy in, he made it clear, if they don't buy in, they won't play. Plain and simple. So you heard Tony Dye talk about him changing positions, how excited he is to learn this new defense, and the buy-in has got to happen. And it's slowly happening. The coaches were excited this spring, and it'll continue into training camp and into week 1 against Southern Utah.
Taylor Alley, by the way, did not attempt to pass last year. He has a catch in this game after moving to wide receiver. And now he's got to race down to try and recover that loose ball, and I don't think he did, and Team Brave is going to get it back.
Looks like another bad snap right there. That's not acceptable. The offensive line coach is going to be right on the center right there. You can't dribble the ball back.
I've seen a number of those today from Team Free.
The quarterback has no chance. In a game, I would imagine Alley would kind of get that ball right there, but in a spring game like that, he's not going to risk getting hurt on a fumble.
Troy Dye told us he didn't know Jim Leavitt was in his 60s. He said I thought he was in his 40s or his 50s. I didn't know he was in his 60s. He's running laps at 6 a.m.
That's great. That's why he's still excitable. He's keeping his routine, and I can't stress enough, I've talked about enough, that attitude will really help this team going into next season.
Well, this is good news, because this is Tony Brooks-James back into the game. We saw him leave the game earlier after a big hit, and it's great to see him back and on the field and feeling okay. Second team All Pac-12 last year, voted by his teammates as the offense's most outstanding player.
A little line change on offensive line with a little injury. The Brave team only has 6 offensive linemen, so they can't get too many guys running out there.
And Jacob Breland, the tight end, attached on the left side of the line right now. This is Johnson handing off to Brooks-James. Swallowed up. Hotchkins, the first man there. And a changing of the guard, certainly Willie Taggart. Joe Salavea, the assistant head coach, knows the conference very well from his time at Washington State. Marcus Arroyo and Mario Cristobal, and then, of course, Jim Leavitt. Cristobal coming from Alabama. And he's great experience. You talk about the offensive line all around the country. Miami, Rutgers, but first time out this far west.
Coach Taggart did an excellent job assembling this staff. He really did. Got some great recruiters, some great coaches, some great teachers and leaders. And, when they decided to part ways with Helfrich, the whole staff had to go. That's part of what happens. For 40 years now, we've kind of been hiring from within. And when you bring a new coach in here like Coach Taggart, you have to clean house. And I like the hires they made. I think they'll be great moving forward. There's a lot of energy. And if they can recruit some players in here, which they need, these are the guys that can do it.
Jim Leavitt was on the verge of perhaps going somewhere else. He had a lot of offers, and Willie Taggart said if he had waited to the next day to call Jim Leavitt, he might have lost him. He might have been gone.
And I will say, as an alum, it's good to see Oregon pay top dollar for some of these assistants, because that's what it takes to build your staff. And they did that, and that's the way they were able to keep Leavitt here. And they need guys like that to be part of this program moving forward.
Johnson could get the ball to Nelson. And we've heard a few things familiar. This is Willie Taggart's first head coaching job, obviously, in the Pac-12, but the tie with Jim Harbaugh, tied. He played for Jack Harbaugh. So we've heard a few things that might be familiar to Pac-12 fans, right? An enthusiasm unknown to mankind. He warns his players about Freddie P. Soft, the little guy on your shoulder that tells you to take it easy. Joe Salavea there.
Freddie P. Soft, it's a thing for all players. You know, 7th day in a row of training camp. You might want to take it easy, but that's the one day where you might need to bring it hard. You learn something new that day. So, just being able to bring that attitude into this program is what Willie Taggart is trying to do most during the spring, and he'll continue during the fall.
Ryan Bay on that reception.
Herbert's been crisp today. There's no way around it. I think he's done a good job with this offense. It's limited in the spring right now, but look, moving forward, I think he's shown every sign you want from your quarterback.
There's a stiff arm by Royce Freeman and dragged down eventually. Blake Rugraff there. One thing we've seen in practice is there'll be a portion when they go live, Jeff, where the coaches will not call off a script, but they'll use a headset and they'll call the plays live to the quarterbacks and to the players to try and simulate the tempo. Herbert's going to keep and throw, and Bay can't bring it down.
You need plays like that. Ball could have been a tad overthrown, but it hit Bay in two hands. He's got to catch this ball and bring it in. He walks in the end zone right here. Great throw. He's got to make that catch. Back to your point about the coaches calling plays live. It makes sense when you install a new offense. You want to see how things are going to function, and I'm not surprised they're playing a simulated game first half, right, with the 15-minute quarter, stopping the time, because they need to get their operation down as a new staff. So it makes sense that they're doing it here, and so far it seems to be working well.
Here's a nice throw in there to Matt Mariota, who has switched over from defense where he's played most of his life, all the way going back to St. Louis High in Honolulu. He gets a big hand for the catch. He's been a defender, and a big adjustment for him to the offensive side, but of course he had a personal quarterback, and it worked out because Marcus was here rehabbing that right fibula, and it was double work. It was Marcus working back into his throwing and into his physical state, and Matt getting to learn route running. And Matt Mariota told us that he has to send Marcus video after every practice. He said this after practice a few days ago. Marcus wants to see his route running. Marcus wants to see all the formations. There's Royce Freeman.
That's what you get with Freeman right there. He's going to run guys over. He's powerful. If you look right here, he follows his lead blocker, pulling around the corner right there, runs a guy over, continues to go, and this is what they need from him. And he shows he can do it. And next year at this time, he'll be drafted in the NFL.
You alluded to it earlier, but Marcus Arroyo, the pass game coordinator, here's Herbert taking another shot, wide open. Carrington, touchdown, his second of the day.
Look at some celebration going right there.
Here they come.
I mean, it's an easy pitch and catch right there. Little play action fake right there. Sweep. Herbert just sets his feet. Boom, wide open. Fool the defense right there. Easy plays is what this offense needs, and they're going to get it with this scheme. Big plays like that fire your whole team up. And they didn't have that last year at times.
Tanner Crew the snapper, Schneider the hold, Taylor Alley rather the hold, Schneider the kick. And I would think too, even when you get the big plays, when the other team's offense comes down and marches right back. I mean, it was one thing when Oregon was scoring a lot of points and almost suffocating teams with the speed.
Yeah.
Take another look at it.
They've run this play over and over today where they pull the backside guard, faking almost like a sweep, and you can throw a bubble off to the side or run the guy deep like they did here right down the middle of the field, and he split the defenders and made a play. And these type of big plays demoralize the other team. They really do. And the more you get of them, the more explosive you become, the more the other team just doesn't want to play anymore. It's plain and simple.
Carrington, 5 touchdowns last year, 43 catches to lead the team.
He's got
4 minutes and 37 seconds left in the second quarter. We'll have a running clock in the second half, but there is a halftime today, and Mike Yam and Yogi Roth are in the studio with their thoughts on the first half here, the big picture for Oregon. And they've been locked in around the conference, the series of spring games, and this concludes the last day of spring football here in the Pac-12, UCLA later today. And that's everybody.
Oregon's always been late for spring ball, just the way their calendar works out. Oregon and UCLA, both quarter system. They play their spring games a little bit later, and fall camp will be here before we know it. Our football drought will be over.
I know everyone walking around today at Autzen saying, happy football, but then it's going to get taken away from them in just a moment. This is Brooks James with a great return out to about the 38-yard line, 37-yard line or so for Team Brave, and we'll see if it's Johnson or Burmeister in a quarterback now. Looks like it's going to be Burmeister.
I think what you've noticed so far, at least offensively, because the defense is not showing very much. I don't think there's much to glean from the defense besides Graham's playing well and Springs is playing well on the outside. Dye's made some plays. Hodgkins has made some tackles. But if you look, Herbert is the best quarterback to have on the roster. He's ready to go now. He's leading the offense, and more eyes will be put on him because of what he did last year. And it's good to see him looking crisp today.
So he's processing.
This offensive line, though, with Hansen and Lemieux in the middle, those are the two starters. That'll be the left guard and the center, and they've moved guys off the ball all day today, and on this play was no exception. So I think that the offense has been as advertised. I think the offensive line has played well. Herbert's played well. The skill guys have played well. Defense just needs to continue trying to make big plays to help themselves get out of the bottom of the Pac-12 in the rankings.
Charles Nelson near a first down, maybe a yard short. Mario Cristobal, the offensive line coach, says he wants his offensive line to send the message with every single play. That means getting stronger. That means getting more physical. That means being more aggressive. Here's a 3rd down and 1, Jeff. So you're the perfect person to ask. You've been an offensive line. Is that something that an offensive lineman, and here's Brooks James feeling his way for, we'll see, 2 opposite marks. But as they mark this football, is that something that can change in the course of an offseason? The physical nature of your line?
Yes, it's a mindset. So your mind has to change first. You have to want to be physical, and then with technique, you become the physicality comes and manifests itself on the field. You could be as physical as you want, but if you don't use technique, it doesn't matter.
You're talking about leverage.
Yeah, leverage, hands, and footwork, and hitting on the right time, exploding your hips, all these things that go into playing offensive line. And Coach Cristobal has worked really hard this spring on just a few techniques, but doing them over and over and over again to get the muscle memory down, because they'll lose it from now until they get back for training camp where they have to start all over again. But if you can just sort of build a base right now and get at least, you leave spring ball knowing what coach expects of you, you can come back in fall camp and start a little bit ahead than you might have been.
And the coaches have already started. They're going to hit the road, start recruiting. They've already started having sort of the post-spring meetings with players. Started on Tuesday, meeting with guys and explaining to them how they think they've done. Burmeister off target and nearly another interception for Springs.
What's the saying that the corners, if they play wide receiver, if they could catch?
Right.
And wide open guy. Little miscommunication there. Wide receiver ran a hitch. Quarterback threw a go. Defensively, though, you like to see the guy make the catch right here. He jumped like there was someone behind him.
Yeah.
Recruiting starting tomorrow and Monday is big for this team. They need to bring in some more talent. Coach talked about needing to upgrade the roster at certain positions, and so it's big for them. They need to go out and get as many guys as they can with a new staff. I know people are fired up around the West Coast about what Oregon can do, and go out and get some players.
Well, Willie Taggart, we mentioned that he's never had 7 early enrollees, and you see Burmeister, the quarterback, he's one of those 7. He said one thing it's done is that it brings kind of a fresh energy here. He said none of those guys were around last year when they won 4 games, and so that's been great for them. Tony Brooks James is quote-unquote tackled at the 32-yard line.
I think Well, I know the 7 early enrollees are here because they needed them to play. And I think that's kind of the state of the team. When you need 7 early guys to come in and play, you're just not as talented as you have been in the past.
That, by the way, was the 18th carry for Tony Brooks James. Team Brave is going to take a timeout here. Look at this. He's the only running back on Team Brave. He's saying, one way or the other, I earned the steak dinner, not the hot dogs.
I thought the same thing. No matter what happens tonight, he should be getting his steak dinner. He put in a full work day. He'll feel good after this game, get in the cold tub, and he's young. He'll be fine tomorrow.
A redshirt junior. He had 3 100-yard games last season against Colorado, against Arizona State, and against Cal.
Second in the team in rushing, 771 yards, 9 touchdowns. He had 3 100-yard games. He's another component to this offense. He's a little bit of a change of pace back to Freeman. He's a little scattier, a little quicker maybe, and brings a different dimension on the edge than Freeman is. Freeman's a downhill runner. He can get to the edge as well, but having Brooks James adds another dimension to your offense.
Charles Nelson is in the backfield now. And he dances his way for maybe a yard or 2. Lamar Winston there with Dye on the stop.
Again, Hanson and Lemieux in their center left guard blowing guys off the ball. That's what you love to see from your offensive line in the spring game is guys working together. This pair will work together during the season, and they're working really well today.
Hanson, honorable mention center last year. Mario Cristobal told us that he wants every offensive lineman to learn the game from the center's position.
You have to. You have to know as an offensive lineman, if you want to be elite, you can be so-so and not do it. But if you know what everyone else on the offensive line is doing, you can adjust on the fly. When things don't happen as planned or as drawn up, you're able to make these adjustments because you know what everyone else is doing on your offense.
Burmeister was looking for Breeland there. Breeland with the departure of not just Farrell Brown, but Evan Bayless and then Johnny Munt. This is Breeland's job, and he flashed a few times last year. He only had 6 catches, but he made some spectacular plays. Had a great catch in the Utah game, in fact, a first down catch on that day. He has good speed, but the blocking is now the next step for him.
Yeah, he's tall and lean, so it's no surprise he can catch the ball really well. But they've had some plays today where linebackers have been beaten in pass protection. Tight ends have been beaten in pass protection and in the run game and cause some issues. So they're going to keep working on these guys getting stronger and being able to block will add another dimension to the offense.
Dye has been everywhere today. That's not a shocker. 91 tackles last year. One of just 4 true freshmen to lead his team in tackling last year. He has 6 today. 3rd down and 8. Need to get down to about the 10-yard line for Burmeister. It feels like there's been 10 sacks today. That was Lamar Winston, one of the Duck. I don't know, we call him a backer, a Duck linebacker, or just the Duck?
He's just a hybrid linebacker. This is what the Pac-12 needs now because of the spread offense. You need a guy who can rush the passer like he did in a pressure, the 5-man pressure from the outside, or can cover the slot wide receiver down the middle of the field. If Breeland's in the slot, they need a guy that can do both. And you'll see the Duck player evolve as the season goes on. But for an offensive line, for an offense, you don't know what that guy's going to do. They did not account for him on that play. They had no one blocking him. He ran the hump and got the sack. And big plays like that will help the defense get out of the cellar.
If you watched Colorado much last year, Ryan Moeller was a guy, didn't play in every game because of injury, but he was that buff position for Jim Leavitt's defense there. Can that be your base? Can you have that guy on the field and as your base defense?
That's the plan. I mean, that's what that position is. It's very versatile. I do wonder at times if they get to a nickel situation where they take their big guys off the field. They have 4 defensive linemen as a 4 defensive lineman in front of 4-2-5 essentially. If he does drop down and put his hand in the door to rush the passer one day, because this guy can evolve, or you can run a 4-1-6 and put him at linebacker, and you can do a lot of things with a hybrid type player like that. So this will keep evolving. I don't think Coach knows exactly what it's going to be yet. He's got new staff. They're going to bring in some freshmen to compete in fall camp as well. So the defense will evolve over time, but I think we see so far they're going to be a base 3-4. They're going to 2-gap up front, and they're going to improve as camp goes on. They'll find their identity.
Look at what a first round it was for the Pac-12. Solomon Thomas and Christian McCaffrey with their coach there looking on, which is pretty cool. Those guys go in the top 10. Then John Ross went number 9. Adoree Jackson goes to Tennessee. Garrett Bowles went to Denver. And Takk McKinley, who stole the show, went to Atlanta.
Him and his grandmother.
That's right.
Sidney Jones from Washington would have been a first-round pick if not got injured as pro day, went in the second round.
Kevin King was the Packers pick.
Yes,
top of that
at
round.
33. So Pac-12 has a lot of talent. That's one thing about the Pac-12 is, back when I played USC, it was basically USC. That was it. And now you have Stanford, Washington, USC's back, UCLA, Colorado, 4 defensive players got drafted so far. And, it's a down year for Oregon. They might not get a player drafted, but I think you'll see them bring in some more talent as the years go on to get back into the draft.
And we say back when you played, that's a decade. I mean, that 07 was your last year.
Yes,
right?
it's been a while, yeah. I mean, and even
it's not that long ago, is my point.
In football years, it's a while. Yeah. It's a while.
So the second half will feature 2 12-minute quarters and a running clock. Team free, that's the team with Royce Freeman. They were just on offense. They are leading, and on the field, Jill Savage with Mario Cristobal.
Thank you so much, Coach. After one half of play, Willie Taggart was saying, we want to see how they perform under the lights. What do you think so far?
Well, I'll tell you what, number one, a beautiful day here in Eugene, so that makes it a great day for football. Guys are making plays, and you can see we missed a couple big opportunities. You can't miss them come game time. Guys are maturing, guys are developing. We're okay with the way progress is going, but we're never content. We've got to do a little better job.
With that progress, how are you coming with implementing this offense? You have a long ways to go, so what's the biggest thing that you want to see them take away?
Taking pride and making sure every single play that we run in this offense, we know what to do, how to do it, and why we're doing it that way. If we understand that, we'll do it the right way. We'll play with great technique, great pad level. We'll play with relentless effort. We'll have great success.
What are you going to ask of them to come out in the second half?
Just bring it.
Thank you.
All right, Jill, it's Mario Cristobal, the offensive line coach and co-offensive coordinator. Team Free leading Team Brave 14-3. We've got a halftime. They're going to head to the locker room, and we'll send you to San Francisco. In our Pac-12 studios, Mike Yam and Yogi Roth standing by to talk ball here on the Pac-12 Network.
230 pounds. He is not a luxury automobile. He is a bullet train.
You're looking at one of the greatest running backs in college football right now.
Royce Freeman is the rarity in college football. He is a complete back, an absolute beast of a back. He's got the speed. He can run you over, but he's also elusive.
They are more than pleased with what this guy has done throughout his Oregon career thus far.
And one thing, as you take a look at his numbers today, his team on defense for the moment, but one thing Marcus Royal told us, the co-offensive coordinator, that Freeman is actually, he said, Jeff, a better route runner than he realized when he was just watching Oregon on film in preparation.
Yeah, he did say that. And, if you don't follow Oregon, you probably don't think that. I mean, that's something that you have to follow them to really know. And when I first saw Royce Freeman run, he reminded me of Jonathan Stewart right away. They're close to the same size. Stewart's a little bit thicker, but that's who he reminds me of. And Stewart is 10th year in the NFL now. So if Royce Freeman can be that good for the Ducks, that would just be excellent for him. They just have to keep him healthy. He can't have any injuries. And a lot of that sometimes comes down to luck. And hopefully he's lucky.
Travis Johnson keeping it after faking the handoff to Tony Brooks-James. Touchdown after a pickup of 7 earlier today. Jill Savage spoke with Royce Freeman.
All right, here with Royce Freeman. You decided to come back. There's a whole new feel around this coaching staff, this team. What's it been like from the inside?
We got to change it from the inside out, and I think the coaching staff has done a great job doing that. Coach Taggart and his staff are bringing the energy day in and day out. He's just trying to change the culture around a little bit, but, everybody's buying in. What's your part in this? Just being a more vocal leader, making sure everybody inside the locker room is good, everybody's kept tight, close-knit unit. And we gotta come switch things around this year.
You were one of 4 free agents for the game. What was that like? I know that the coaches were trying to recruit you to do different things. What were they really trying to do?
They're really just trying to get me on the team so the other team couldn't have me. That's how I feel. They're just trying to, if we have them, the other team can't have them and use them. But it was fun. It was like being recruited all over again. I'm with Team Free, and we're going to come out here and do the thing.
Give me an example.
Example of what?
Of what they were doing.
You know, talking on the other team, telling them what they're going to do, trying to, you know, play mind games. But, you know, I'm ahead of that. You can't finesse it. You know? They try to finesse me. They tried all types of tactics, tell me what the other team was going to do, but I was ahead of the game.
You've been around way too long. Thanks for your time, Royce.
No problem. Thank you.
Guys?
Can't finesse a finesser.
That's a first. I think I'd want to play with a starting quarterback too.
Right.
So I think he made the right choice. But that's I've never heard that one before.
And I've never watched Royce Freeman and thought finesse.
No, that was also when he said that. I thought that you can't outpower a power person.
Yeah, force or finesse, neither works. Royce Freeman chooses his team, and he chose Team Free. The other free agent on this team was Ugo Amadi, and Justin Herbert and Team Free scored on their first drive. And look, there's finesse. Royce Freeman with the speed down the sideline, a little power inside the 15.
So that's some of the fun you're going to see with this offense. They've been showing that bootleg all game. They've run 5, 6, 7 of them. They show the same action again. Like he's going to, rolls out to the right on a naked, throws back to Freeman, who they've ignored all game, running his fake like that. And he's wide open down the sideline for a huge gain. So that's the fun you'll see with this offense. They can bring some new types of big plays that they hadn't had in the previous couple of years.
Herbert's just going to take it himself. And they had a pickup of about 5 yards.
Good protection up front there. That shows you right there with that 63% completion percentage with no pressure. Guys just aren't open. Herbert's back there all day waiting for someone to get open, and no one's there, and that's something that needs to be improved on at wide receiver.
Carrington was trying to go 3 for 3, 3 catches, 3 touchdowns. He's 2 for 2 right now.
Fade route. Me and fade routes don't go along very well.
Why is that?
I think they're overused. They just you don't have to use them all the time. It's first down. You have a lot of options right there. And, you didn't have to go throw that ball. That was second down. You didn't have to throw a fade. It's a low percentage play.
You want to run inside?
Please, yes. I get the need for throwing the ball. Trust me. But, you got to put in your offensive line, especially in the red zone. You save your fades for when you really need them.
Darren McNeil, the freshman, with another catch. I like this young man. You mentioned it earlier. They've gone at him a lot.
Good zip on the ball there by Herbert.
And here's Freeman trying to get inside on first down, and he's grabbed around the waist by Blake Rugraff.
Big true freshman Jordan Scott in the middle right there. Jordan Scott, sorry, in the middle right there, pushing back the center. Jordan Scott. And big boy. 5'11", 335.
Down from 355. He's wearing number 34 right in the middle of the defense. The nose tackle in black. And Freeman runs on by and into the end zone. And Team Free in control.
Huge hole right there. Great job of the offensive line. We just highlighted Scott. He pushed center back but didn't get off on his block. And, that's something that he's going to learn is the two gap. And right here, if you watch him in the middle right here, he gets push the center back. Fullback does a great job leading up on and Freeman walks in. When we talk to the coaches, they talked up Scott like no player, I think, that besides Freeman and some of the stars. So he's a player to look forward to this year if he can get his weight down a little bit and play the game in better condition.
I said everybody loves him. Here's Schneider on for the point after.
They say he's first in line to do Oklahoma drill every day. He wants to take on the best offensive lineman that Oregon has, and that's what you love to see from a young kid who, I think thought that he was a little wrong in the recruiting process.
The 5th highest rated defensive tackle out of the state of Florida last year. We mentioned 335. You see it there. They'd like him to get to about 315. But they say he's embraced shedding the weight. They said people have started to notice and tell him, hey, man, you look pretty sharp. And he's pretty proud of the hard work he's put in. And to drop 20 pounds since he's arrived, pretty incredible. Losing weight with enthusiasm is the way Willie Taggart put it.
That's what he wants, enthusiasm. For him to be a captain for this game. He was a captain. He was also a free agent. I think that shows you what they think of him as coming in that young and being a leader.
Willie Taggart was shocked. This is Johnson. He said it's pretty impressive for a freshman to come to a team early and for everybody to know his name because he just lights up a room.
You have to make plays as well, and he must be doing that really well in practice because you can be the best personality ever, but coaches aren't singling you out for your personality; they're going to single you out for your play. And if he can get his weight in control, he could be a really special player for Oregon. And they need a nose like that. If you run a 3-4, you need a 2-gapping nose like they're playing right now. You need that guy to be able to knock the center back and create alleys for your linebackers to come and make tackles.
Talking.
Big boy. It's like naturally built leverage.
The question, too, will be, how does a season wear on? What was your freshman year like in terms of the way you felt in late November?
Yeah, so I played as a true freshman. I didn't play many snaps, maybe 80 snaps, and it's just a shock. You're not used to doing it as much in the game planning, and also the school. High school is not as hard as college, and you get to college, and you're in week 8, and you have to study for a big test or write a big paper, and you're tired and sore. You have to figure out how to do time management, how to do it properly. And for me, I lost a bunch of weight in my freshman year, just figuring out kind of the way I needed to prepare my body for the season, and he'll go through all that. I don't think there's as much as the so-called rookie wall or freshman wall. There's not so much of that in college, but I think he'll do fine. Oregon has an excellent training and conditioning program, training staff, nutritionists, sports science, all that stuff. So I think he'll do just fine. And when you're young, you recover a lot faster from things. So that's one thing he's always got going for him. He's even on the punt team right now.
There he is, right at about the 35.
He's a little tired.
Darren McNeil is going to receive this. So team free back at it.
Herbert getting most of the reps today.
I'm on full sprint that way.
Well, it's only Taylor Alley, a wide receiver on his team.
Nothing's changed. That's right.
And he'll just throw that away. Good pressure there.
You can tell this game hasn't been totally game planned as far as scheme-wise. If you run a 3-4 like Oregon's doing, you're not going to run as many of these bootlegs. Oh, late flag.
Leato was the guy creating the pressure.
Intentional ground. Number 10 of the offense. There was no receiver in the air. Ball be placed in the spot of the foul. Loss of down. Second down.
So intentional grounding is on the table for the spring game.
I feel like the commissioner might have played a hand in calling that right here. I think he wants to see some situations, second and near 18 now. Second and 21, and he wants to see these situations right here if his offense can get out of it.
Referee said, Coach, I know you wanted those things called today. This play's going to keep going. Kenai Benoit. Intentional grounding just makes his touchdown longer. And that's everybody's going to celebrate this one.
This is the way it should be. This is what Coach wants to see, the celebration. Probably a 2-yard gain in a real game. In a spring game, it's a 91-yard touchdown, and even longer than that. 94-yard touchdown, and the celebration is awesome. It's a blowout.
Well, like we said at the beginning, Herbert, Carrington, Freeman on the same team, and Benoit, and more offensive linemen.
I can smell the steak already.
And again, I think Fotu Leato would say, I had him tackled at the 6. That was like you said, that was maybe a game, is what he's thinking. Another look at it. Kenai Benoit, he's had a great spring. He went over 100 yards last week, and he's doing it again today. Pac-12 Spring Football is brought to you by State Farm. Get to a better state. This is day 142 of the Willie Taggart era. And per tradition, on a just fantastic day here in Eugene, they brought him out again today. Team free, as has been the tradition, military appreciation for about 9 years now, since Chip Kelly instituted that. The spring game, Willie Taggart received a flag at halftime. Their beautiful ceremony, the playing of taps. And now we start this running clock fourth quarter with a fumbled snap from Team Brave and Braxton Burmeister, who's the third-string quarterback.
Second snap issue today. That's what you get from a young kid. That snap hit him right in the hands. You have the starting center still in there, Hansen. That's something that, he's looking at the defense, maybe not focusing so much on the snap, kind of wanted to get the ball out as soon as possible. You have to make sure you secure that snap.
So now it's a 2nd and 13 after the loss of 3. And Burmeister's going to tuck it and go. And he'll be touched at the 41-yard line. Another tackle for Troy Dye.
All over the place today. Yeah. He's done a good job. They need him to be the guy on defense, and he's shown that today. This game is pretty much panned out like we expected. The playmakers on offense are doing a good job. The positions and the few playmakers they have on defense at the moment, they're going to get better. Dye's making plays. Thomas Graham making plays. Springs making plays. The guys that we thought were going to be the stars of the defense are doing the job. Hodgkins. On offense, Herbert's playing well. The offensive line's playing well. The running backs and Kerrigan's, just like we thought.
Nelson in motion. He's got it. And there's Springs again.
Good job, Bryson Young there, number 56, stringing that play out, allowing Springs to come in and make the tackle for a loss. I thought that was a pass again.
It looked like
the way the back was veering off. I thought he might be throwing the ball.
We've received one of those today, incomplete. Nelson. This time it's Brooks James. And that's something, and you've talked about a little, Jeff, but that's going back and watching some South Florida. That's a staple of what we see them do, what we'll see this offense do a lot this year.
Yes, a little misdirection there, pulling a guard. And we talked about tight ends earlier, and Cam McCormick, 84 right there, made a nice block to spring that run to make it a little longer gain. So him being able to do that, just a tight end position in general, to return 3-yard runs to the 6, 7, 8-yard runs.
Burmeister sacked.
Coverage sack, no one open. It's a spring game. They're running very limited routes, a lot of overs, a lot of just all goes down the middle of the field. I mean, they'll get some more route concepts going as the season goes on. So that's just a spring game coverage sack.
Burmeister's completed a couple passes, 2 for 5, just over 40 yards throwing today for the true freshman. Fourth down and 2. His arm was hit as he threw, and still the ball got to Cam McCormick. Got hit right on the forearm.
It's a good rush right there. They need to win one-on-one battles in the
in the what? One-on-one battles?
In the trenches, the defensive line.
Nelson again, and Burmeister keeps it.
This is why they need a quarterback who can run the ball. they like to run these quarterback plays. When you have a design quarterback run, you add an extra blocker. The running back becomes a blocker or a decoy as well. So that's what Coach likes to run this offense. Herbert can do it, but Burmeister is better. But you've seen throughout the game, Herbert is the guy.
That was Keith Sims, by the way, had that arm deflection. He wasn't expected to play today, but he's in there. Wearing 24. You see him defending right now. He's going, that's just, wait a second.
That was a broken play from the start right there.
You can understand why Brady Breeze said, when you play a spring game, everyone roots for both sides of the offense. the defensive players have to walk out of this thing going, you don't whistle the play dead when I have a sack. Does anybody care about us? But yes, I think the answer is yes. Jim Leavitt's here to prove that. 3rd down and a short 5. Need to get to the 12.
A lot of drops
Chase Madej, first chance to try and make a play today. Walk on.
Another 3rd down, not converted. I mean, that's what you run into. 39% conversion rate is not good enough. You have to get in the 40s, and just pitch and catch, real easy right there. A little bit of 6-yard completion, a 1st down. Guys have got to make those plays, and that's why Coach is a little worried about the wide receiver depth. There's besides Carrington, they have Mitchell and Nelson. They need a couple other guys to start filling in those roles to keep them on the field when they're on 3rd down.
Burmeister looking at the sticks, and he's going to get there, a 1st down.
Very generous. Very generous spot again.
Yeah, I think Kilpatrick thought he had him 2 yards further back.
If I was a defender, I'd be starting to get upset now.
Oh, you'd wait till the 4th quarter?
It's about time.
Yeah, Hodgkins definitely let up.
Hodgkins impressed me today. He's made a lot of plays, been around the ball a lot. He's been a ball hawk.
A senior from Riverside City College. Enrolled early last year coming in from JC. Had 34 tackles. He's from just up the road in Portland. Was frustrated that he didn't get more recruiting opportunities coming out of high school. Went the junior college route, and obviously to be here in this moment now. A spot where he's going to get a lot of opportunity inside linebacker. This is shy of the goal line, so it's going to be 3rd and goal, less than a yard. Jacob Breland and McCormick, so a couple tight ends in the game now for Oregon. Breland on the left side of the line, McCormick just in front of the quarterback Burmeister. That play blown up. It was Dye that came flying in there first to disrupt the play. And then Kilpatrick.
Great job by the defense right there, reading the little misdirection, making the play. Oregon's had trouble in the past in these 4th and go situations because the spread offense, it's hard when you're in a shotgun to be successful in these situations because you're not snapping the ball 5 yards back. And the running back's getting the ball at the 6-yard line, not at the 3, and like a normal under center, and you're in a 2-point stance, and it makes it difficult. So, coach is going to have to find ways to get them going in these situations.
Spread them out, and the first touchdown for Team Brave, Tony Brooks James.
Good job up front. So, we'll get to the replay right here. Again, you have, there you go, the 2 guys I'm talking about all game, Lemieux and Hansen right there. Great double team, driving a guy off the ball. That's what you love to see. Those are going to be their cogs inside. They've done a great job today. That's highlighting one of their plays. They made 7 or 8 blocks just like that today, and Coach Cristobal will be really fired up when he watches film later today of that play.
Well, here's immediate response. Here's Jill.
Thank you so much, Coach. You were saying you wanted to see how they do under the lights. Black getting in the end zone for the first time today for the Team Brave. How have you seen them perform so far?
Throughout the scrimmage, they didn't necessarily do really well, but it's really good to see them finish and not give up there, and find a way to get in the end zone.
looking at both offense and defense. Hey, there's some celebration there as well. Having a little fun, right?
Yeah, again, it's great to see them not quit, keep making plays, and that's what we got to learn to do. Fight through a little adversity and just keep playing to the end.
And then finally, this is the last time that we're going to talk to you in this game. So what do you want to send them off? What's the message as they go into their summer workouts?
Well, let's just keep getting better each day. Now we're going to go in another part of our getting better in the offseason, and we want our guys to continue to do the things right off the field. We're doing it right on the field and continue to grow as a team.
We look forward to seeing that progress. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Guy?
All right, Jill. That was a 2-point conversion. Reception, Charles Nelson.
What's really impressed me about Coach Taggart so far in spring ball today is his honesty. He tells it how it is, and guys really appreciate when you have a coach who doesn't sugarcoat things. Not passive-aggressive. He tells you how he feels. And you can see today, Joe tried to get him to celebrate that play. He wouldn't do it.
What a play by Derek Carrington, though. 12 best. Spring game qualifies for 12 best, right? Let's see. Yes. That's a catch.
Great catch.
12 best nominee.
Back to him again. That would be a holding. Uncalled holding. See, the defense gets some breaks.
Okay, fine. Khalil Oliver there battling with the ball. It's not quite Antonio Freeman Monday Night Football, but... So he's had, 3 catches, 2 touchdowns, and that 12 best nominee. I don't know if that's one, but that's got to be top 12.
It's a great catch.
It's a great catch.
From a playmaker. It is really running out the clock now. Look at this formation.
There's Hodgkins, the linebacker, in there as a fullback. All right, how do you celebrate? Does this qualify as the kind of celebration Willie Taggart wants to see?
That's a hefty fine in the next level.
All right. Look, the players are excited about this. There were some players that said this week the coaches have been taking this game more seriously. They've been talking more trash. Jalen Jelks with the sack. But then the coaches have been talking more trash this week leading up to the game than even the players have. Raymond Woody, the coach of Team Free. Keith Hayward, the coach of Team Brave.
There's no denying the energy the coaches bring to this program. And they want the kids to match their energy. And so they're going to keep that going. And we'll see a Gatorade bath here in a second. They're still playing.
Yeah, I think that was 27 men on the field for the offense. What throw is Herbert going to make here? What a bullet. Touchdown.
There they go.
Carrington again.
Look at the whole team. I love it. That's what they need.
His time expired. The game winner. Well, if there's an excessive celebration early in the year, Willie Taggart might even be okay with it.
Clock's at zeros. Doesn't matter anymore.
That's it.
It's a great way to end this game, though. With the whole team celebrating, enjoying being with one each other, and the offense played really well today.
September 2nd, Southern Utah. That's game 1 of Willie Taggart's time here at Oregon. So when you wonder, and a lot of people ask the questions, what will this Oregon team be this year? Of what you know, what do you feel like you know?
They're going to be good on offense, and they're going to have to find ways to make plays on defense. Whether that's turnovers, creating pressure through blitzes, and dogs. Their defense will have to find a way to get over the lack of overall playmakers. But offensively, they'll be fine. They'll score a lot of points. If their defense can go from averaging, giving up 41 a game to 32 a game, 30 a game,
okay,
they can win 6-7 games. I would not expect 10 wins, but from 4 to 6 or 7, you'll get some guys in there. 2 years from now, they should be back in contention. Jim
Levitt's had a defense improved by 12 points from the year before he got there to his first season before. That's what happened at Colorado. Southern Utah, Nebraska, at Wyoming, and then the conference slate. They don't play USC and they don't play Colorado, so a little bit of a break there. And now they head into the summer before that opener against Southern Utah September 2nd. For our entire crew Our director, Tim Lair, producer, Dave Feldman. Jill Savage on the sidelines and Jeff Schwartz. This is Guy Haberman saying goodbye from Autzen Stadium.